What is the best way of building an electronic music career in 2024? In this guide, I will give you the 4 best ways of making it as an internationally touring DJ and artist in 2024. One of the most common questions I hear from up-and-coming artists is, how do I turn my love for music into a full-time career? How do I break in the industry and start touring internationally? I know what that feels like. At some point, every DJ and producer has asked himself these same questions. You've got the passion, you've got the drive, but the path to making it as a professional artist often feels elusive, like you're always a step away from your big break. And I want to help you bridge that gap. My name is Ben Rau. I have been fortunate enough to spend the last 15 years traveling the world as an international DJ, playing everywhere from Glastonbury Festival to DC-10 in Ibiza, Space Miami in the US, Asia, Australia, South America, you name it, I have been there. I'm also one of the founders of Dojo Music, where I teach artists like yourself how to turn your dreams into reality. What I'm about to share with you is the result of 2 decades of experience of trial and error, watching countless artists succeed and fail. So let's break it down. Approach number 1, the brand builder. The first path is the hardest, slowest, but it can be one of the most rewarding. This is for artists who build something bigger than themselves, a label, a party, even a festival. Think of brands like Fuse London or PIV. Artists in this lane may also release music, and most of the time they do, but they are most commonly known for the communities and the brands that they have created. Now let me be real. Building a brand takes time, dedication, and teamwork. You can't do it alone. You need to be a leader who can inspire a group of people to follow your vision, but the payoffs can be incredible. When you build a brand that has a dedicated following, you gain autonomy. You're no longer just waiting for promoters to call you, you have control. You can create your own events, curate lineups, and shape your own destiny. I have seen artists spend years, even decades, building their brand. But those who succeed have something most artists only dream of, and that is longevity. When your brand becomes big, promoters come to you because you're a headliner that represents a hard ticket value because of the community that you've built and that follows you. This path is tough and it requires patience, but it does give you freedom. Artists who build strong brands often outlast those who only release music. Why? Because a loyal fan base will stick with you through the ups and downs and through trends and changes. They're not just following your music, instead they are invested in your world. Now let's get to approach number 2, which is the DJ producer path. This second approach, the DJ producer route, is the most commonly traveled path to building a career as a touring artist in electronic music. You're laser focused on making music, you're trying to get signed to labels and leaving the hard work of building brands to others. This route can be a faster route than building a brand, but it's still a tough grind. When you're starting out, it can feel like you're making music in a vacuum. You don't know if people will resonate with your sound, and becoming a skilled producer doesn't happen overnight. It can take years, 3 to 5 years of dedicating every spare minute to producing. But here's the upside. If you do make it, this path can be a catapult onto the big stages, quicker than the brand building route. The fastest way to do this is by aligning yourself with a big brand like Paradise, Solid Roof, or Defected. Getting signed to these brands is by no means an easy feat, but once you've signed to their label, they're likely going to invite you to events in Ibiza and beyond, giving you instant visibility. Patrick Topping famously played his first paid set at DC-10 Ibiza, so a strategy that is laser focused on a particular brand gives you that instant visibility that can be a game changer. This route can build your career quickly, but it comes with a trade-off. You're reliant on the brand and even more specifically on the owner of that brand. You may not have the same deep and personal connections with your audience as somebody who has built their fan base more slowly. And even though you're riding high, you might feel at times a little bit like a passenger because you don't feel in full control of your career. And that's why so many artists who take this path eventually start their own brands. At some point, you need to break out and create your own identity, or you'll forever be part of somebody else's story. Approach number 3 is the social media DJ. And this is the new kid on the block. The social media DJ has in the last few years exploded on platforms like Instagram and TikTok. These platforms have changed the game entirely. We've seen influencers pivot into music and relatively unknown DJs become global sensations seemingly overnight. This path is by far the fastest way to build a career. If you go viral, a single TikTok video can propel you from obscurity to headlining stages in just a few months. And I have seen that happen, but here's the reality. Viral fame is unpredictable. It's a bit like winning the lottery. You can't plan for it, and despite what some marketing agencies might tell you, there is no guaranteed formula. You might spend months trying to go viral and it may never happen. The truth is, if you want long-term success, you're better off focusing on your craft, learning how to produce great music, and being an exceptional DJ. You can use social media as a tool, but don't let it be your only strategy. Approach number 4 is the hybrid approach and what I call the all of the above approach. But what happens if the big labels and brands don't come knocking? If you don't get that invite to play in Ibiza, or you're not having any viral videos? Then you pick yourself. You don't wait for anybody to give you permission to be great. You take the hybrid approach, combining elements of the brand builder, the DJ producer, and the social media sensation. Some of the most successful artists that I know today took this route. They started by self-releasing their music on Bandcamp or through small independent labels that they founded themselves. They didn't wait for validation from bigger brands, they built their fan base one release at a time. They started parties in their hometowns, which then attracted a loyal fan base. I'm also part of this group. For years I hoped that somebody industry would give me the break I thought I deserved. But after a while, I realized that nobody was going to come to rescue me. If I wanted to play in Ibiza, I'd have to get there myself. So I started my own label. I pushed forward and I built my career on my own terms. You may not currently have the skill set or work ethic to break into the big league straight away, but that doesn't matter because neither did I when I started out on this journey. One thing that I have always been happy to do is invest in myself. I was lazy, but I learned to work self-motivated by reading the right books. I was an average producer, but I enrolled in a music school and online courses to get better. I lacked guidance and accountability, so I invested in one-on-one tutoring and coaching to achieve my goals. At Dojo, we're here to help you achieve those goals because we understand that there is no one thing that makes a great career. Whether it's learning to work self-motivated, tips for supercharging your creativity, or running your own record label, and of course leveling up your production game, we have you covered. This all of the above approach is the most predictable way to success. The sooner you realize that you're not getting around to doing it all, the better. Making it is a marathon and not a race, and the wider your skill set, the more opportunities you will see opening up for yourself. A final word on marketing. Social media and marketing is a non-negotiable. No matter which path you take, one thing remains true. None of it matters if you don't know how to market yourself. I know incredible DJs and producers who are world-class at what they do, but because they don't understand how to present themselves, they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. You can't neglect this. In today's world, it's not enough to be talented. You need to know how to tell your story and build your brand. And that's most commonly done through social media. If you don't adapt to the rapidly changing landscape of making it in the music industry, you risk being overlooked. If there's one thing that I've learned in my 20 years in the music industry, it's this. No one will fight for your career harder than you will. So whatever path you choose, take control, adapt, stay consistent, keep learning, and most importantly, believe in yourself even when no one else does.